Tony Kennon, where are you from and how long have you lived in Orange Beach?
I'm from originally North Mobile, but my parents have had a place in here since '68. My wife and I have lived here for 35 years, since about 1990 full time. So we've seen it all, dirt roads to what we have today.
And what position are you running for?
I'm running for mayor of the city of Orange Beach.
Awesome. For city vision and priorities, what are your top 3 priorities if elected, and how do you plan to accomplish them?
Our number one, we're going to protect this bubble. And we do have a special bubble. We have a special place. I mean, it's a throwback to Mayberry. And whatever it takes to protect that bubble from the pressures on the outside, we're going to do. Because believe me, right now, every day I deal with pressures that want to burst that bubble. So that's my number one priority. Number two is we're going to be financially sound. We're going to be in a position of minimum debt. Debt gives you, no debt or low debt gives you many more options than being in debt. So we're going to financially be very fiducially sound. And then lastly, 2 parts. There's some children. We're going to take care of our kids. We're going to stand in the gap for them. We're going to protect them from what would harm them. We're going to expect excellence of everybody and everything in our city, from our schools being number one to the floors being hospital clean in every city facility. And then, not last, but definitely not least, is we're going to protect our environment, our ecology, the ecosystem, because those are the natural resources that actually make us who we are, and we have to take care of those.
Right. And what is your long-term vision for our city over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, the long-term vision is essentially the same. I want to make sure that we maintain the quality of life that we've all come to expect. I want to make sure that life is better here, and it's better here because of all the wonderful amenities that we have. And the wonderful amenities are due to the effort through fiscal responsibility to make sure that we have surpluses every year to put back into amenities for our residents to enjoy, considering the difficult time and that time during the summer when it's really rough around here moving around. So we want to give back.
And how do you plan to balance growth and development?
Balancing growth and development is a difficult situation, because you're really trying to balance a group of residents that would just blow the bridge up, nobody else come. You have a group of residents, have children and businesses that they are trying to run and raise. Those can be actually contradictory to each other. Then you've got the tourists who have a totally different concept of what they want here. They want to have a good time. They check their common sense at the bridge. The rules don't apply to them. So it's truly a balancing act. But for me, we've got to look at growth under the moratorium and how through allowable state regulation we can affect density, but also look at the economic impact of changes, and also look at what the tax base looks like if we all of a sudden have a huge influx of residential properties, because they pay a much lower volume of tax than sales tax and lodging tax on the beach.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of segues into budget and taxes. Yeah. How do you plan to handle the city budget and prioritize spending?
We're going back to the growth. We also have infrastructure needs and roadways, bridges that I am working on right now. I'm headed to Washington, D.C. to meet with Senator Tuberville and Senator Brett, and right now trying my best to get federal funding to get those done. But the budget is very simple. You manage expenses, number one. Yeah, revenues are what they are, and you hope for the best. You don't compromise your brand. You run it like a business, and you hope that you're going to see the revenues come. But the one thing you can manage is expenses. And in 17 years of being mayor, we've always come out with a surplus. And one of the reasons is I have the greatest team of department heads anybody could ever have. Every single year for 17 years, they've come in under budget. You show me a single governmental entity that's ever done that, and I'll be surprised. So our guys, they know what they're doing, and they're going to be right there to make sure we keep our budget intact.
Okay. And do you support raising, lowering, or keeping taxes the same, and why?
Well, hopefully we'll never have to raise taxes. That would be terrible. Obviously, we all hate taxes. Lowering taxes is sort of a double-edged sword, because we're in a very unique situation in that if you're a full-time resident and you pay a penny in tax, all your taxes are matched by 6 cents from tourists. So you get a huge bang for your buck for your taxes if you have the right leadership that spend it correctly. There's the argument that by lowering taxes, you'll see more spending, and I get that. But we are absolutely a unique situation where for every penny we put in as residents, we get 6 back. So I would want to study very deeply what a reduction in taxes would do. But if it was possible, a reduction in taxes makes sense from a philosophical conservative value perspective.
And what specific services or programs would you protect from budget cuts, even during a downturn?
Well, during a downturn, you're going to have to protect what governments do. That's police, fire, safety, cleanliness. You got to protect public works, which takes care of your roads and your infrastructure. You got to take care of your sewer. So those are the needs. We got to protect the needs, and that's what we'll take care of first. Then the wants will be prioritized, such as that would be into athletics, that would be into the arts, that would be into X, Y, and Z outside of what governments do. And we would spend as much. Most likely, what we would do is spread that gravy money out, so everybody would have some. It just may not be what we're used to if there is a significant economic downturn.
For housing and development, how do you plan to involve the community in decisions about new developments and zoning changes?
Well, state law already dictates that that's what we do. We have public hearings for pretty much everything, unless it's by right. And then by right, if they check the boxes off, they have to be approved against state law. I've done almost 40 town hall meetings, and I think most people here know I open the microphone up and I answer any question I can. I don't run from anything, and I'm as transparent as possible. Council meetings, we open the floor. We allow the folks in the meeting to participate in the discussion. I bet you 99% of mayors and councils across the state would never allow the folks in the audience to participate, but we do. And we open the mic at the end of the meeting so that they can again participate any way they wish.
On to education and youth. How will you support our city schools and ensure all children, including those with special needs and disabilities, have access to quality education?
Well, number one, I started pushing for a middle school in Orange Beach in year 2000. So for 25 years, I have fought to get our school system, and it's one of my most proud achievements is our own school system. I am extremely proud, and now we're in the top 5, and hopefully this year we may be number 3. I am really proud of that. I will stand in the gap for our children. We do expect excellence. Our Expect Excellence program is second to none. We teach our children right from wrong, work ethic, discipline, courtesy, respect, community service. We teach them or try to find for them a passion, because if you find a passion for a child in elementary school, the odds are you'll never have a problem out of that child. Any child with a disability is going to be taken care of. We meet, from what I understand, every federal and state reg necessary, and we go over and beyond that, and I have plenty of examples of that as well.
Okay. And what role should the city play in supporting youth programs and after-school opportunities?
I think if you go look at our fantastic athletic complex that's coming up now, that tells you how much we support athletics. Go look at our sportsplex, the fantastic stadiums. We have as nice of facilities as anybody in the state, and actually better than most colleges. But the thing that I'm just as proud about is it's just not athletics. We made the decision early on. We support the arts equally financially. So drama, theater, music, productions, those are just as important to us, because we know not every kid is an athlete. Not every kid wants a ball in their hand. So that, to me, is something I think is special about us. The arts matter, and we support them financially and in every way.
On to transportation and infrastructure. What is your plan to improve roads and pedestrian safety?
Yeah. Pedestrian safety is difficult because, like I said, these folks check their common sense at the bridge when they get down here. If we didn't have folks trying to cross 5-lane highways, we would have a lot less issues. We may have to bring back the old jaywalking ticket. I don't know. But crosswalks are difficult because when you have an on-demand crosswalk, that completely messes up your sequencing of lights, which now push traffic into a quagmire. And that is, no matter where you put a crosswalk, there's 10 more people that want a crosswalk. So essentially, we've got what we've got. Folks have got to use common sense about crossing a 5-lane highway. Same thing with golf carts. Just because you're in a golf cart doesn't mean you can do that. So that's important. Man, I rambled on. What was the second part of that?
That was roads and pedestrian safety.
Okay.
You're good.
Roads, though, the bypass behind the Commons has got to get done. I negotiated $5 million cash from the state when we got rid of the toll booth, and that project moved to the top of the list. But unfortunately, it's held up by federal regulations in the Corps of Engineers and wetlands. That's another reason I'm going to Washington. We've got to get the bypass done so we get away from that bottleneck at 161 Canal there at Docks. We asked Aldott at the time we widened Canal Road to please let's put the bypass in the project, that this was going to be a mess if you didn't. They didn't listen. You see what we got. I'm going to work on that. We need another bridge. We need a bridge next to the one at the wharf, because if we have 2 bridges north, two lanes north, 2 lanes south, that will flow perfectly with the expressway. Then we have 4 lanes throughout the city of Orange Beach with no bottlenecks.
And how will you ensure equitable infrastructure investment across all neighborhoods?
Well, when it comes to equitable, the market dictates that. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depends how you look at it. Land values here make it very difficult for there to be anything low cost. I'll give you an example. There's folks right here wanting to start a church. Well, it's almost impossible to build a church in today's world because of the cost, or to build a church and start from scratch. So it's very difficult. The market dictates that, but we make sure discrimination is not a possibility. We're going to take care and make sure that everybody here is treated fair. I have no favorites. Everybody's my favorite, and we will continue to do that no matter what. But we don't hire DEI. We hire the best person for the job. Black, white, green, polka dot. It doesn't matter. The best person for the job gets the job.
All right. For transparency and community involvement, how will you ensure transparency and accountability in city government?
Well, accountability, I'm accountable to the voters. And after 17 years, if folks don't see that I have no problem answering any question anytime in a public forum, I'm not going to get on social media, and I'm not going to play that game that some folks want to play. I will use social media for dissemination of information, because I think that's what it's for. But everyone here knows, come to the council meeting, you can ask me any question, I'll open the floor. Town hall meeting, ask me any question. We've got a newsletter, we've got a great website, we've got a helpline you can call. Most everybody in this town has my cell phone number, and 90% of those folks have called me. So if you really want to know the answer and get away from the urban myths and the Facebook chatter, please call me. But we can't make you do it. We need you to help us educate everybody so they know what's going on in town. It would really make our life much easier.
And how do you plan to keep residents informed and involved with local decision making?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I may have just answered that question,
Yes.
because website, newsletter, helpline, my cell phone, we are an open book. Call me, send us a message, whatever you would like to do, and I will respond. Somebody will respond. I promise you that in a timely fashion. If they don't, you call me back. But there is nothing that we won't talk about or try to help you with. Just reach out, please.
And how do you plan to make the city more inclusive and accessible for people with disabilities, seniors, and other often overlooked groups?
Well, first off, very few people know this, but during COVID, we had a list of over 400 individuals who were self-quarantined and immunosuppressed, diabetes, obesity, a lot of different reasons, widows, widowers, frail, and whatever they needed, we took care of, whether going to the doctor, going to the pharmacy, bringing them food, taking their garbage out, whatever we needed to do, we took care of those people who were self-quarantined, while at the same time trying to keep our city open so that we could make a living for those of us who feared bankruptcy more than we did COVID. Going back to fairness, the law dictates we abide by every law, state and federal, that has anything to do with fairness for seniors or anybody with disabilities. And if I am made aware that that is not the case, which I don't believe that's the case, it will get rectified immediately.
All right, last three. Who do you see yourself accountable to?
I'm accountable to the taxpayers. And that's what elections are for. Elections are term limits. So, we got an election coming up. If after 17 years you think I'm not worthy of this position, I understand, and I will leave and go clean out my garage. But I want to be your mayor, and I want you to understand I don't have any aspirations for higher office. I just want to be your mayor, a full-time, 365 days a year, 7 days a week mayor that will absolutely grind it out for you. I will fight for you. I don't fight for me. I fight for you, and I fight for us. And as an example of my dedication, in 570 council meetings since I have been mayor, 570, I've made 569. So hopefully that tells you that I am dedicated to my job, and I am dedicated to you.
And have you ever changed your position on a major issue? Why and what did you learn?
I have absolutely changed my position, and generally it was in a public hearing where I might have been leaning one way or was going to lean one way, but when the hearing began, some citizen came to the microphone and said something very, very common sense. And it made sense and rang true with me, and it changed my mind. And that's happened more than once, and I don't think I need to go into the specific projects, but there's no doubt in my mind public input matters, because sometimes we get tunnel vised and we lose sight of some things that we shouldn't lose sight of. So the more input, the better this city will run. I wish we had 1,000 people at every council meeting. I promise you, it would be so much easier to run this city.
Last one, what sets you apart from the other candidate running?
17 years of experience, 17 years of relationships. I don't know if you remember, one of my mantras is going to be T-minus 30. And that was T-minus 30 to get this city cleaned up after Hurricane Sally, and we did it. 30 days. People couldn't believe we did it, but we did it because of relationships I had with EMC, Crowder Guff, my department heads. We worked together as a team, and we got it done. And I think my crisis management, my fiscal responsibility, and my willingness to be open about anything in transparency, I do think I'm the candidate, the best candidate.
All right, thank you, Tony Kennon, for your time.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate it.